Alliance Church. It's Steve here, and happy to come to you today and bring you another installment of this Going Beyond the Status Quo. Questions to really think about, ponder, interact with others as a follow-up to yesterday, to our time together on Sunday. And so I got three things that I want to share with us that hopefully will challenge us a little bit, also encourage us, maybe convict us, because I think that's what these questions really should do as we consider what the Lord is saying to us through our Sunday services. Doing a little bit different today, only because I want to tag on to one of the things that Pastor Bryce said on during communion. And so the first question that I want to challenge us with today actually centers around the passage that he shared out of 1 John. He said this, that this is the message that we have heard from him and declared to you. One of the things I want to ask us is, what is it that we're declaring to the world? What is it that we're sharing? What are we saying? Whether it's through our conversations, whether it's through what we're reading, listening to, maybe what we're posting. What are we declaring to the world? And is what we're declaring to the world truth about God, truth from Scripture, or is it opinion? Is it whatever a hot topic is, a controversial topic? But what is it that we're declaring to the world today? The second thing I want to look at has to do with the message that Steve Sr. shared with us in Matthew. And he took a look at really a lot of questions that were there, but in particular, there's two things that I want to ask. One is, in what areas of our lives do we need to challenge what we hear and compare it to the truth that we see in Scripture? See, there's a section here in the verses that we looked at where Jesus says, you have heard this, but I tell you this. I believe that today there's a lot of things that we hear that we take as fact, or we suddenly take a podium or a position to share with the world something that we hear that may be or may not be truth. It may be something that we're interested in. It may be something that makes us feel good. It may be something that we would love to get behind, but it's not truth. And so what are the areas in our lives that we need to look at things that we're hearing, things that we're maybe believing, but how do they match up with what God has to say? How do they match up with His Word? And then finally, there was a challenge really given yesterday as we talked about or heard about loving your neighbors and being in a position to, who are our neighbors, being in a position to have an impact on the world. And this is something that Pastor Bryce has been sharing for a while, that we get out of our comfort zone, all right, that we're uncomfortable in our comfort zone. And so the question I would have is, when we think about loving our neighbors, are we putting ourselves in a position to only lift up, interact, talk to, converse with our friends, people that we're like-minded with, people that they aren't our enemies? Are those the only people that we're coming in contact with, that we're relating to, that we're talking to? Or are we in positions, are we in conversations, are we in situations where we can love on those that we might consider our enemies, or that they might consider us their enemies? So are we putting ourselves in a position, in a place to really make an impact for the Lord? Hope these things are encouraging. Hope these things will challenge us this week.